Punta na tayo sa topic natin ngayong gabi. Evaluating training effectiveness. Training that delivers, making your impact crystal clear. Yun, yung impact, yun yung ano eh. Yun yung kailangan natin pag-usapan. Sabi ko nga, yung laki at liit ng ating training and development budget for next year na depende sa ability natin to present to our stakeholders, especially management, yung impact or yung effectiveness ng ating mga training and development intervention. And maraming challenges in developing and implementing a training evaluation plan. Yung pong ating speaker ngayong gabi at bagong-bago at ito talagang pinaghandaan ko yung introduction nito kasi bilib ako sa tao na ito. She has almost 2 decades experience in corporate learning and talent development. She is the Learning and Development Manager at Vista Print Manila and is also currently serving as the Vice President for External Affairs at PSTD at member din ng Project Pag-asa, a non-profit organization that aims to provide free education to orphanages in the Rizal area. Kita mo, napakasipag. Tapos ano pa, facilitator of the month ng PSTD. At higit sa lahat, isang katropa. Wala pong iba kung hindi si Miss Anna May Villaluz. Hi, AM. Good evening.
Hello! Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Pearl. And thanks po sa lahat ng mga katropa na nag-join sa amin sa akin lahat today. Kasi ang sarap matulog eh. Sarap mag-snuggle
Oo
up.
nga.
Ayan, di ba? Sige. Let's get started. Medyo marami-rami tayong pagdadaan.
Oo nga, dadaan talaga, no?
All right. I hope you can all see my screen. Impact is really something we're all interested in as practitioners. Lagi tayong curious, how do other practitioners and organizations present training impact? So let's start with bakit nga ba tayo nagme-measure ng training, no? Right? There are many reasons. The core five, it's of course to measure effectiveness of the program. We want to keep running programs that are relevant and impactful. And the way we can do that is if we evaluate properly. We want to improve future programs and like Ed said, justify costs, secure our budgets. And maybe you can also identify additional skill gaps. That's another reason. Because when you do your TNA, you design your program, you run it, you evaluate, maaaring may lumabas pang ibang factors that are impacting performance as well. And of course, to boost morale and engagement, the more we turn out relevant and effective programs, the more engaged our talents will be. And of course, the more productive. And I'm going to start with a very familiar model. I'm willing to bet everyone na nandito sa Zoom meeting room, you're familiar with it. It's just a line on, I guess, the most popular training evaluation model, just Kirkpatrick's 4 levels of evaluation. Not going to spend a lot of time here, but just to align, we start with level 1, how satisfied are our learners with the training experience. And then level 2 is just checking how much knowledge was gained. And level 3 is how much the behavior has changed. After ko ba matuto, nagde-demonstrate ba ako ng behaviors ng pag-apply ng natutunan ko. And level 4, of course, is your results or business impact. Actually, in some, they would say that it's 6 models starting with your TNA, followed by the 4 levels of evaluation. When we talk about evaluation, ito naging favorite analogy ko to, napulot ko kay Pres Ed, no? Yung pag nagluluto kayo, ito baka may mga nagluluto dyan ng bulalo or sabaw, sarap today, no? Pag nagluluto kayo, yung tinitikman nyo para ma-adjust nyo yung lasa, right? Yun yung sample ng formative way of evaluation, right? You taste as you go. You check. So in training or when we're running training, ito yung you're doing a pulse check while you're still running the program. So you adjust and then you continue. So ito yung mga pulse check, daily survey, maybe you're doing a quick knowledge check at the end of the day or an activity to determine ano yung natutunan. This is again happens while you're running the program. hanggat di pa natatapos. Ngayon, all the methods and tools and instruments of evaluation that happen at the end, that would be your summative evaluation. So ito, pag naluto nyo na yung food, tapos hinain nyo na eh. So, tsaka nyo tatanungin, ano, masarap ba, maalat ba, kulang ba sa ganito? So, same rin. So, the post-program feedback and impact. And the only thing you can do here is to adjust or improve the next run. So, same way na pag tinikman na nung bisita, tapos di nagustuhan, ang mangyayari lang is sa next luto na natin ma-adjust yun. Same din with our training. So this is your post-training feedback and your post-test are good examples of a summative form of evaluation. Importante po silang pareho. Later on, makikita natin may mga samples tayo nito. Peter Drucker said the most serious mistakes are not being made as a result of wrong answers. The truly dangerous thing is asking the wrong question. So when I ran the training design certification program, we actually spent a considerable amount of time talking about the instruments of evaluation. Kahit as simple as your L1, yung survey, yung level 1 survey, and your assessments. Because gaya nga yung pagluluto, di ba? The chefs, they clean, they sharpen their knives. Your instruments also need to be sharp. Kasi kung hindi, nag-yield siya ng results, but it might not be an accurate reflection of their actual reaction or their actual learning. Again, medyo may details tayo later and samples niyan. The next model that we're going to look at is Jack Phillips ROI or return on investment. Yan. A lot of times, no, we're intimidated. Isip natin, ako, ROI. O kaya we have stakeholders. They ask for ROI of the programs that we're running. Actually, kung formula lang pag-uusapan, madali lang naman talaga yung formula ng ROI, right? You can find it anywhere. So you look at your benefits, you look at your costs. It's a simple formula. You plug in the numbers and you will see what the actual return, like for every peso that you spend in training, magkano yung bumabalik, right? So again, yung formula madali. The tricky part here is determining yung cost. Do you know kung ano yung, how much it costs to hire, for example? How much it costs to train, diba? Kaya nyo ba maglagay ng peso value on those? Now, when we talk about return on investment, first of all, we're talking about pure financial returns. Magkano yung investment, magkano yung nakukuha in return. When you talk about cost-benefit analysis, it's almost the same except CBA computes for both tangible and intangible. So pag sinabi mo my training program or our training program, this has benefits in terms of engagement, in terms of attrition, in terms of morale. Those would be your intangible benefits. You still also need to put a peso value to it at the end of the day. So mga katropa, hindi nyo naman kailangan isipin to mag-isa. You can actually consult your HR heads or HR teams, your finance teams, and get that number. They will most likely have it. There is someone in your organization that has that number, and you merely have to take that and plug it into your computation. Okay. Another popular evaluation model, well, not so popular, but known evaluation model is the Brinkerhoff Success Case Method. Minsan tawag dito SCM. Simple lang Brinkerhoff. We don't always use it. I don't see it used a lot of times. But like it says here, very powerful siya. Ano ba yung Brinkerhoff? So, let's say, or the success case method, no? If you say you run a program, you take post-training, you take, what do you call this? The best performing, right, of your learners after the program. And then you take also the worst performing after taking the program. And you isolate the behaviors. A lot of times, it's really just looking at this, again, success case method. So we look at the successful ones and look at the drivers of behaviors that are being applied. And of course, yung outcomes nun. And from that, doon yung i-derive how to improve future programs or yung adoption and application of the learning. So imbes na, let's say, when you're reporting, no, and you're saying, okay, I trained 100 managers. Tapos, mapipilitan ka sabihin, oh, pero 75% doon hindi nag-apply ng learning. Zoom in nyo doon sa 25. These are the 25% who are applying the learning. These are the behaviors that are driving it. And these are the outcomes in their performance. And likewise, if you can link it also benefits or impact. So zoom in nyo yun. Kasi it's also like food for marketing of your own learning programs. So you zoom in on the drivers for success, you can uh, replicate it. So that's actually the benefit of using this method, even if let's say you're not getting 100% adoption. Okay, good na tayo sa models, right? I'm actually gonna show a few examples, right, of how we look at our evaluation and how maybe we're presenting it to our stakeholders. I'm gonna start with L1. I think I say this a lot. Our own stakeholders, kasi ba L1, reaction, nagustuhan ba ng learner yung training? L2, may natutunan ba sila? Some of you have heard me say this, yung stakeholders ko ayaw na nila yun eh. Huwag nyo na ilagay don't even put it in the report. We're not interested. So usually hygiene metrics, but there's still a way to use L1. You know, minamaliit natin yung L1, L2. Importante rin yan. It's just a matter of how you're presenting it. So the example I'm going to show, we actually took our legacy onboarding program, which used to run for 20 days, right? And then we condensed it to 15. And we wanted to know, in terms of learner reaction, ang ginawa namin, gumawa kami ng daily pulse check. So it's just a pulse check, 2 questions. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate today's learning experience? And then the second question is, if you rated us lower than 10, what would make it a 10? And this is what I'm saying. Now, when you're doing your surveys, kahit konti lang yan, but it's getting you exact, because in those 2 questions, I get exactly what I need, right? I will know exactly what I need to make our program better. I don't need 10 questions, 20 questions. And this is how we presented it. So because it's an NPS format, right? We saw that we had 230 promoters, 28 passives, and 5 detractors, which is really, this is actually good, right? By NPS standard. And then you could see day to day. Okay. So, di masyadong maganda experience first day. For example, 76%. And then it kind of goes a little bit up and down and it peaks at 97%. And then, of course, dahil sa comments, we get a little bit more insight, right? So, they find the training easy to follow. They have a good training environment. And then we get the lowlights. So, sa lowlights pa lang, ito yung, if you didn't score us a 10, what would make it a 10? Kuha na namin. Right? So alam na namin, okay, we need more call listening, we need test accounts. I like this kasi simple lang. Gusto lang nila more icebreakers or forms of engagement. So that's also meaningful feedback for us. Pero we didn't stop there. We actually also compared it to the previous one. So yung first 2 weeks. So nakita namin in the old program, nagsa-start ang experience 94% on average ang satisfaction. Pero nag-e-end siya 59%. Diba? And then, with the new program, we saw 92% and then nag-peak siya into 97%. So immediately, we're seeing a drastically different experience. So even if this is L1, it's still meaningful information or data. And then of course, we still have our qualitative inputs at the end, right? So here ang laki ng difference niya. Like in the old program, they felt we were in a hurry kasi hinahabol na namin matapos yung mga kailangan i-cover. However, when we redesigned and moved to the new one, they felt it was more well explained and easy to follow. So this really has value also to your stakeholders if you're trying to show learning experience, diba? So instead of just showing 4.5 out of 5 or ito medyo mas may malaman. So think about also how you're presenting that data. Ayan, talagang piniga namin L1 lang no pero pigang-piga siya. We also showed more comparisons and showed percentage increases per driver in the actual L1 survey. So, yeah. We also have for L2, again, with the same program, we had the written assessment, no? If you can see from the old one, nag-average siya 93% ang score. Sa revamp, 94%. Hindi siya ganun kalayo. So what's the point? Pero if you look at the assessment questions, the old one, look at this, di ba? What type of customers do we usually cater to? Tapos dalawa lang yung option. So 50-50 yung chance mahulaan mo yung tamang sagot, di ba? Whereas when we redesigned it, we also redesigned the assessments and really mas situational siya and mas forced ka talaga to demonstrate na naiintindihan ko, I understand, and here's how I'm applying it. This is the solution we will select. So what's the point? The point is, even if the scores aren't far, I am far more confident that the 94% is reflective of true learning versus the old assessment. And this is why, even if we're talking about post-training evaluation, I will always go back to really look at your instruments. You have numbers, you're spouting numbers, reporting numbers, but are they really reflecting learning? Are they really reflecting the learner experience? Ayan. And this is a sample level 3, and I'm sorry, it's very tied in talaga no, sa nature of our business. So this would be your mock call. We would have a checklist of expected behaviors or performance, and they would demonstrate that. This one happens actually at the end of, parang before they graduate training. Not to bore you, but this would be what a sample L4 looks like when we present it. And again, depending on your audience, I know sa iba pa nakakalula to, but we provided, let's say, simple graphs dito sa last column, for example, so that at a glance, kita mo kagad yung trend. Is it pababa, pataas, or it's inconsistent if you don't want to look at the numbers. So in our case, our stakeholders, iba-iba preference nila. So we made sure there was something for everyone. And here we're really just comparing the performance per metric that was important to us. Of course, for the nature of your business, it would vary as well. So I wanted to share a story also, right? So previously, in a previous organization, we were talking about yung usual trajectory no, of an agent or specialist. And we found that 99% of the team leaders in our organization were hired internally. So from agent, top performing agent to team leader, 99% of our team leaders sa loob galing. And then, once you go up, that number really drastically again reduces. So sa operations manager level, maybe only 50% are internally hired. And it gets even lower at the director level. It was something like 20%, right? So one of the things we wanted to do was to develop a career exploration program as part of the whole succession planning strategy. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but one thing we were able to prove, right? At the bottom, you're going to see academy graduates hit 10-year performance targets 70% quicker than non-academy hires. So that's one thing that we were able to establish. That's a definite business impact. Initially, our goal was just, okay, let's be able to fill roles internally. Pero ang nakita namin is that because these teams also, no, they have scorecards. Not all leaders were fans of the program because it also involved work on their end. But those that did and those that supported, they really saw if it takes 6 months, sometimes even more for someone na bagong hire to hit yung performance level ng mas tenured sa role na yon. Pag galing sila sa academy na program, minsan third month pa lang, nai-hit na nila yung performance requirements or performance level ng isang tenured sa role na yon. And just to share, what the picture you're seeing here, storytelling is very important, even when you're, what you call this, reporting on measures. In this case, this was us pitching the program. to the president and vice president of the company. Yes po, Excel sheets and stick figures po ang ginamit namin. But the program was highly successful. So those are like the impact measures that you can look at. Yun definitely may gain. And of course, you can compare hiring cost, for example, of internal and external. Yan yung mga pwede mo tignan. Okay, almost last na. Just want to encourage everyone. This is a journey. So this is a hierarchy of why we measure learning. First is to inform. So ito yung mga, ilang headcount trained, how many programs are running, etc. The second is we monitor. We've established, ito yung standard natin na dapat 80% at least yung assessment scores. Therefore, when people fall below that, we intervene. Now, most of us, we think, yung level 3, which is evaluate, yun na yung highest level. Ito na yan eh. Ito na nga rin yung pinag-uusapan natin, di ba? Like we're assessing impact, we're demonstrating value, we're identifying relationships between what we're running and the performance. But it's not. The highest level is actually to manage, right? And it takes exemplary skills and some resource to do this because hindi ka lang tumitingin per program. When you're at this level, you have maybe monthly reviews, and you're really tying it into strategy of the organization, so much so that you can forecast results. But I wanted to show this to show that it really is a journey. You start with first step, second step, third step, and then fourth step. So just basic principles to go by. First of all, your eval is only as strong as your TNA and training design. So make sure your instruments are sharp. When you talk about CBA or ROI, make sure it's for your big ticket training items. Training ha, pag nag 1 hour webinar, hiningan ako nung site lead namin, 1.5 hours na webinar. What's the ROI on that? Hindi po ganon. Reserve this for your big ticket training items and make sure it's actually training. Present data in ways that are meaningful to your stakeholders. And again, take your measurement journey one step at a time. Here are some resources I would, encourage you guys to look at if you want. Just keep your own personal instrument sharp, your own knowledge, skills, and attitude. Ayan. And yung last, di ko pa natapos, pero malapit na. It's really good. And of course, hindi lumabas. Pero I encourage you also to join the training certification programs on evaluating training effectiveness. We actually have another run in August and another one in November. Ayan. Thank you.
Grabe, AM. Mag-i-enroll yata ako sa ano, mag-i-enroll yata ako doon sa training evaluation. May resibo, no? So, hindi lang theory, hindi lang mga models, nakakita tayo ng resibo on how to do it, no? And I have not seen this level of ano, no, details and rigor in doing it. I think mukhang nakumbinsi ako mag-enroll training evaluation certification. And I was writing a lot of notes pero unahin ko siguro doon sa aking tanong because I saw earlier merong ano no, meron tayong katanungan about measuring the I don't know if we can call it intangibles but yung ROI ng soft skills. Kasi kung yung training ay merong direct impact, for example, sa sales, sa production, if it's a technical skills training, madaling kwentahin yung ano yung impact. How about mga soft skills? Can you share with us, the good or best practices when it comes measuring yung yung soft skills?
Soft skills. Or power skills nga sabi nila Ed kasi hindi naman siya soft talaga.
Ah,
'Di ba? Power skills. What do you call this? It again, itatali rin dun sa objective. For example, why are you teaching communication? Is it because they're not communicating effectively with the customers? Then you would look at the link with the communicating with the customer, or kung meron kayong mga CSAT surveys. Tapos ito pa, pwede nyo tingnan, may specific line item lang yung survey. For example, minsan kasi guys, tinatali natin yung result overall average. So like your example, nag-soft skills training dapat yung CSAT tataas. Hindi kailangan yung buong CSAT average tataas. Kung meron lang dong question na, let's say for example, the specialist communicated effectively with the customer, you can commit to only lifting that particular driver. So you could measure that.
Right.
For some, like we've run leadership programs where we would do the same thing. We would look at a very specific driver in the engagement survey that would be addressed by the learning. Doon namin siya itatali. So titingnan mo kung ano yung objective mo and ano yung meron kang available na paglilingkan na data.
Oo. Kasi halimbawa, combination of skills di ba? Para mag-produce yung results For example, if yung training ay mentoring, no? Ang training ay mentoring. There are ang pinagtitingnan natin ay productivity ng employees as as facilitated by the managers and supervisors. So hindi lang yung mentoring skill, but yung supervisory skills and all the other skills combined will contribute to the productivity. So paano yun? Change of behavior. Ganun ba? Yung change of behavior yung i-measure mo pagka ganun?
Just to share, kami dati, paano namin na-measure yung gano'n, kasi may employee engagement survey. So, through a scatter plot diagram, kinorelate namin doon sa mga kasi buong population yun So, pinakita namin yung difference when we presented to our executives. Pinakita namin yung difference nung mga nag-attend ng training. Gaano kataas yung engagement nila compared doon sa mga hindi nag-a-attend ng training. And that actually helped us to say na merong increase in engagement. Tapos pati yung, kunyari, part ng binigay mong training is like feedback giving, leadership skills. So, pinakita rin namin yung mga direct reports, kaano din tumaas yung engagement nila, yung mga direct reports nung mga attendees. So, scatter plot diagram na ginamit.
Pero pwede rin as simple as Ed mentioned, if you're also observing the behaviors that have changed. If you have existing checklist within the organization kung saan siya lalabas. So for example, may quality audits. Doon sa mismong audit form, may behaviors na doon. So yun pa lang pwede mo na i-check, nag-change ba yung behavior doon sa communication aspect. Pero pag wala,
so yung in that context, hindi pa level 4 no, or level 5, it's level 3.
It's still 3, yeah.
Now, that's the challenge, I guess, So yung pagka ang mine-measure natin ay yung level 4 or level 5, hindi siya automatic, at least how I understand it from this conversation, na hindi porket nag-level 1, level 2, level 3 ka rito, automatically makikita mo yung level 4 nun. Parang ang dapat mong tignan yung impact nung hindi lang isang course but maybe an entire program on the result, diba? For example, yung employee engagement as an impact level 4, diba? It could be several interventions that led to that. Hindi isang intervention lang, no?
I think yun yung laging tinatanong saan pagdating sa training evaluation. How do you isolate yung contribution ng training from the other factors when you are looking at data?
We get that question a lot. In some instances, it's also important kung ari malaki yung ginagawa nyo, try yung isolate na training muna yung gagawin nyo. Kasi kung hindi, sabay-sabay kayo, mahirap yung attribution. There's also a method that is called the Delphi method, which is literally mag-uusap kayong lahat na gumagawa ng intervention and agree how much attribution will be given to each. Pwede rin ganon. There are other ways also, depende kung gaano naka-sophisticated yung meron kayo sa organization. na tools. Yan.
Okay, maraming mga comments at questions dito sa chat si Kevin, nandito pala si Kevin. Hi Kevin. Oh, by the way, batiin lang po natin ang ating mga katropa, si Louie Banta, nandito habang ginagawa yung kanyang
MBA.
assignment sa school. At si Kevin is also here. Ayan. Sabi ni Kevin, baka gusto mo sumali sa usapan, Kevin. What I'm getting for L3 is you need a baseline. Either those that did not
Yes.
attend, oo. 'Di ba? Para merong comparison,
Correct.
Baka
Oo.
kasing ibang dahilan kung ba't nag-improve
Correct.
ang
O baka
behavior
marunong
or
na pala,
performance.
di ba?
Oo.
May ganun, marunong na pala, tapos trinain mo, tapos chinek mo, tapos, uy, ang galing yung pala marunong na sila. So yeah, definitely dapat
Oo.
may baseline.
Eto, sabi ni Menchu, hello, good evening. How may we link this to the effectiveness of the service provider or subject matter expert, resource person, as well as the effectiveness of the learning methodologies implemented during the program? Ayan, magandang tanong ito,
Ano yan? Oo. Actually, may naalala rin
Evaluation ng
ako with that.
effectiveness ng facilitator at saka ng
Mm-mm.
program design.
So first of all, L1, even in your L1, you can establish this already. Make sure you have statements that
Oo.
naka-align siya sa, are you giving feedback? Naka-relate ba siya sa design or sa, what do you call this, sa facilitator? So let's say, kaya ako maghanap ng example, pero hindi ko kagad mahanap. Pero just to share, for example, in our own
Pero
survey,
I just want to say I like the two questions. The
di
two
ba?
question level 1 evaluation. Oo.
Oo.
Kuha to
Yes,
doon,
me too.
Eric. Oo.
Oo, malaman,
Maganda.
di ba? Kuha mo kagad. Yun na yun. Tapos di sila napapagod kahit everyday mo sila pagawan. Kasi simple lang.
Oo. Every
Yeah.
day ba yon? Like if it's a multi-day
Yes.
training, every day?
We only ask that kasi pinago nga namin yung program. Tapos
Oo.
pilot siya. Hindi namin siya i-run every time. But it was important in
Ah,
the pilot run. I-capture namin yung daily experience. But if you
okay.
wanna keep doing it, that's also okay.
Ano siya,
Pwede rin
parang
naman.
learning feedback diary.
Yes,
Oo.
actually. Tsaka, yun nga, the bottom line here is you want to make it simple for people kasi there's such a thing as
Yeah.
survey fatigue.
Yeah.
Hindi naman lahat kinikilig sa survey kagaya ko. Ako kahit anong padala, fill upan ko yan.
Oo.
Pero most of the
So
time,
pwede mong gamitin yung yung two questions na yun also for the facilitator. Yung kasi rin yung tanong ni Menchu di ba? So you can say, okay,
pwede.
ito yung two questions for the program, ito yung two questions for the facilitator.
Pwede rin. Yes,
Oo.
definitely. Pero it's interesting kasi like for us in our own experience, no, let's say for our side, ang lalabas 96% average satisfaction sa facilitator tapos 98% sa design. So nakita mo hindi masyadong malayo. And then you go let's say to other sites or lines of business, 100 pa nga, 100% satisfaction sa facilitator. Pero dun sa design ng learning related questions, 85 lang. So maligalig yung facilitator, masaya, 100%.
Oo.
Pero dun sa questions related to design, ang layo. Ang layo ng 85 sa 100. So then, sisilipin mo kung tama ba yung design nila or tama rin ba yung pag-facilitate nila. So either way, baka sobrang taas din lang na binibigay for different reasons.
Oo. Ayun. So I hope nasagot yung tanong ni ni Menchu. As well as the effectiveness of the learning methodologies. Yung pagdating doon sa effectiveness ng learning methodologies, mukhang level 2 yan di ba, IM? Level 2 evaluation. Kung, di ba, may mga test ka, you can do an item analysis. Pwede mo na i-chat GPT ngayon yun di ba? Kung alin yung mga
Correct.
items na mababa ang score, you can
Yes.
ask the question why ganun yung score.
Yes.
May question din dito si Nerissa. Good afternoon, AM. I don't know if this is related, but just in case, may we know how we can measure the effectiveness of our platform that has all the trainings via uploaded webinars and resources are all online
Yung
on the
system.
platform. Oo.
Mm.
Kung meron kang siguro
It
learning
would be
LMS.
it's a totally different form for an LMS platform. Kasi you're looking at things like yung user experience na yung Madali lang ba
Yeah.
mag-log in? Pag nag-click ba ako dito, sumusunod siya, 'di ba? Mabilis ba mag-load yung videos? There are a lot of sample forms online. In fact, I recently checked one because we're checking out different LMS platforms then. So you have your checklist of what's a good LMS platform. That's related to the tool itself. So you'll have to have a separate. It's not
And
a
also,
training
I think
program.
important when you upload training programs, ako, kasi sanay na sanay kami dahil online lahat, di ba? So, maraming online programs na sa LMS or sa learning platform namin. So, usually, at the end of every program, may evaluation. And then we collate all of these to say, oh, ito yung mga number of people that access training in the learning platform. Ilan din yung nagsabi na for every program that they took, ito yung evaluation nila. Kasi para na-evaluate mo rin. Effectivity ng training programs, both the effectivity of the training programs and the effectivity of the LMS as well.
That's true.
Okay. Meron akong gusto ko lang i-appreciate itong shinare ni Maribel kanina. I think pagdating ito sa ano no yung impact, yung that shows the importance of having performance standards against which the teka na scroll down.
Having performance standards against which the behaviors are assessed before and after the training.
Oo, maganda kasi yon kung yung nag-uusap yung learning and development plan mo at saka yung performance management system mo no. Na yung performance management system generates the developmental needs of the employees so that after the training, if you're trying to measure the effectiveness of the training in terms of behavior, pwede mo itanong, nag-improve ba yung mga behaviors according to the behavioral standards set in the performance management system, no? So, yun. Marami pa tayo rito no? Ang daming comments. Parang mayroong isang
10 minutes
additional
na lang.
session. May additional session na nangyayari dito sa ating no?
Si Jerry Plana yata ay may comment. Jerry, baka gusto mong
Hi, Sir
mag-online.
Jerry. Loli.
Baka gusto mong mag-online to ask this question.
Ito yun, yung it appears that L1 and L2 is under full control of L&D professional. L&D can still influence L3 to a large extent, but acquisition of skill is not the only factor to bring about behavior change.
Yes.
Agree. L4 has even more variables that affect results. I agree. Kaya ano siya, no? Yung behavioral change and its impact in the organization is not the sole province of training and development. Kaya importante yung partnership between L&D and the managers. Naalala ko tuloy yung sinabi mo kanina, AM, about sometimes the managers complain kasi meron silang accountability doon sa Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Ayan.
Yung yung
So
role
yun,
ng mga managers,
So yun kasi, for example the career exploration program includes an internship. But we want the internship to be meaningful, hindi yung nagtitimpla ka ng kape siya nagpo-photocopy or nagpiprint, di ba? So meaning, you as a functional manager, you need to, ikaw mag-establish ng agenda ng intern and the work that they will actually do. And create that space within your team. Hindi talaga siya plug and play kasi there's a lot of mentoring, handholding. Kaya ayaw nila. In that organization, a functional department could opt out kung hindi nila kaya i-offer yon. So we only had less than half of the functions or departments sign up. Kaya ang galing talaga, those that did, sila, nag-work talaga sila, nag-create talaga sila, partner sila. Kaya nung lumabas yung results na yon na people were reaching proficiency much quicker, ang bilis, nag-ano na rin yung iba. So, and again, parang success case method din siya, di ba? So, okay, ayaw nyo muna mag-join dyan, muna kayo. We'll focus on the people that want to adopt and highlight the benefits and gains that they're getting. And then, boom, ano na sila, join sila.
Buy-in, may buy-in na.
Yes,
Nakita na ng ebidensya.
Correct. Ito rin yung because you were asking, no, so survey or report, for example, we ask things like how many managers signed up for the training, or indicate your agreement to the statement, rate your department. Pero survey question versus an evaluation type of question. To what extent, instead of how many managers signed up, to what extent are our programs reaching the right audience? To what extent is the program enabling you to create psychologically safe spaces? Or instead of rate something on a scale of 1 to 5, to what extent is your department inclusive? I mean, those are the types of questions you should really be asking it. Kumbaga in your head, and then form it in the right way.
May tanong pa yata si Sir Jerry dun sa ano niya is, what should be L&D's KRAs and KPIs, and can we say behavior change? At sinabi rin ni Mentor M, to what extent is the L&D person responsible for the behavior change or on the job?
Ayun. Ay, may sagot ako doon sa sagot ni Mentor M, ni Maribel. Yung kasi if we take ownership, tayong mga L&D practitioners, we need to take ownership of of talent development. Hindi pwedeng ang sabihin lang natin, ito lang yung responsibility ko, yan ang responsibility mo. Magsisisihan tayo eh. So, yung pagiging credible activist, I think is important. I believe in everything rises and falls on leadership. And if we are to take full responsibility and accountability for L&D, makakapag-come up tayo ng strategy. Sa mga ibang kliyente ko na pumapayag, meron ako tinatawag na PTA meeting. Bago umattend ng training yung mga participants, yung target participants, I meet with the bosses of the participants.
Correct.
And we discuss yung nagro-role clarification kami. We establish the what I'm going to do, what will be covered in the program. And then, pagdating sa kanila, ito yung kailangan nilang gawin. And this is how we're going to measure the effectiveness of the collaboration between L&D and the managers. Highlighting that we will not be able to get to that result if one of us is remiss on the responsibility, di ba? Para kapag nag-evaluate tayo at level 3 at level 4, may co-celebration of the impact because it's not one person.
I agree with Ed. Yung like yung leadership program namin, prior to it running, meron kaming tinatawag na managers info session. Kung saan we tell the manager, this is the content, these are the roles of L&D, of HR operations, and the supervisors para alam nila. And then what are the expectations from the participants and expectations from the supervisor after the training.
Pero nakita ko rin yung meron ako isang ni-roll out na programa para sa isang kliyente. And I learned also from the managers doon sa aming PTA, Parent-Teacher Association meeting ng mga managers at saka ako. And I learned from that. Sabi nila,
yan, nag-hangsi. Nabitin tayo sa sinabi ng mga PTA ni Ed.
Grabe yung timing. Okay.
Tama-tama talagang binitin tayo. But anyway, I think yun yung isang question Most managers, kahit nabigyan mo sila ng orientation, di ba? Kasi part sasabihin mo part ng evaluation. At the end of the training, hindi naman sila nagpa-follow up. Wala silang ginagawang follow up. And how do we, as L&D professionals, make sure that the managers perform their roles?
More than that, I'm gonna go even further back. Kaya one of the, I think, strongest points I hope that can be made here is that it's not just the evaluation process itself that will help make your training effective. This goes back to the needs analysis.
Oo, tama.
Babalik siya doon. Ayan. So, tapusin ko na yung thought ko.
Nabitin kami.
Yeah, tuloy mo na.
So when you do your needs analysis, first of all, di ba, you're gonna determine if training is indeed needed. It's not black or white lang, or yes or no, training or not training. It could be you need training and you need other, systems
Interventions.
interventions as well. So those things also need to happen. So when you say how much of the behavior change should I be accountable to as, a part of the training function, as much as yung responsible din sa other needs, that the other factors that came up in your needs analysis. Pwede rin ganun. Yan. Pakitapos naman yung kwento mo,
Ayan,
Kati
oo
Dennis.
nga.
Ano
Nabitin
sabi sa...
kami. Anong sabi ng PTA?
Oo, sabi sa akin, paano namin magagawa yung role namin as, parents? Eh di, kailangan daw nila ng tulong. So what I did was, I put together a learning action plan template na parehong may kopya yung managers at saka yung employees. As they attend the training, they come up with learning action plan. They're expected to submit those learning action plans to their bosses. And then they collaborate on how they're going to apply in the workplace and how they're going to measure. So, importante na tayo sa L&D will provide those tools because without
Yeah.
that, just by saying, just by telling managers, kailangan yung i-follow through ha.
Yung parang
Dahil
RIP, no?
busy
Yung
sila.
RIP na ginagamit natin.
Re-entry action plan. Pero yung ginagawa ko a little bit more detailed, like ito yung mga competencies. Ito yung mga critical situations where they can apply it. And these are the help you can provide. Yung creation ng opportunity to apply the learning is very important. And if they can go even further, gumagawa ako ng executive session para sa mga bosses. Just for them to have an overview. Kasi yung iba, minsan may ego eh. Ayaw umaten ng buong course eh. Pagka magaling ka magbenta at ma-attend mo sila, mas maganda. Kung hindi naman, executive, no? Ayun. So yun. Ay, grabe, alas 7 na. Ano ba to? May pa-part 2 ba tayo?
Enroll na lang.
Ang dami pa natin
Bill.
pag-uusapan.
Ang dami pa ng mga comments.
Oo nga, hindi ko na nabasa yung iba kasi naputol ang aking connection.
So,
Ayan.
next
So,
run
ang
of
dami po,
training
no?
Ibala, August.
Oo, mag-i-enroll ako. Mag-enroll po tayo, magkaka-classmate tayo, mga
Oo.
classmate. Ayan, siguro just to wrap up, yung i-highlight lang natin yung iba rito na mga comment. Sabi ni Maribel, in my offline mentorship program, I run an orientation program for the immediate superiors of both mentors. Ayan, no? Internally, we include this in our quarterly competency assessment. Tapos, triangulated sa weekly scoreboard review. Ayan, maganda, no? So, closing remarks, mamaya ka na, Pearl, key takeaways.
I think
Mamaya
yung entire presentation ni AM was really a takeaway. Kasi whether we like it or like it very much, talagang evaluation is more likely, ito yung nakakalimutan or nakaligtaan or hindi masyadong binibigyan ng focus ng mga trainer. Sa atin parang masaya na tayo kapag run tayo, 'di ba? Pero hindi natin pero I think ito yung important takeaway ko. We really need evaluation, 'di ba? From level 1, hindi porket sinabi natin, wag muna yung level 1 kasi happiness lang naman yan eh. Basta magaling ka, bibo kang trainer. Masaya yung mga tao during the training eh. Pero it's important during the level 1, mapakita mo na yung impact ng training mo. And because ultimately, the support that we get as L&D professionals will come from our stakeholders, our executives, di ba? Yung mga senior managers natin. Kung wala yung support nila, then wala ding mag-enroll dun sa mga klase natin. So, it's important that we know how to do it and know the impact of our presentations.
Ayun, thank you, Pearl. At bago ikaw, AM, ako na muna, no? Ang realization ko dito, sobrang importante ng training evaluation at 4 levels. Kapag ka ginagawa mo yan, ibig sabihin nun, handa ka nang humarap sa katotohanan. Di ba? Ng
Handa ka
effective.
na maging master trainer.
Handa ka nang, hindi, yung harapin yung katotohanan, yung relevance and impact of your interventions. And as long as you do that, you will be able to find a way to come up with better strategies. Because the numbers will tell you if you need to improve. So yun yung key takeaway ko. Ang ganda, AM, especially the analytics. I really appreciate it. AM,
Thank you.
closing remarks?
Yeah. Boring man pakinggan, it's always down to the foundation, the core principles. You cannot be aggressive about pursuing evaluation if you were not intentional at the beginning sa analysis. Yung quality na analysis nyo na mag-factor in sa design nyo will determine how effective that program is, which will come out in the evaluation. So mag-enroll na kayo sa lahat ng certification programs No, I actually recommend it. Design,
Yes.
analysis, before kayo mag-evaluation. Because sometimes some of them immediately sa eval, you need to see the link between all of them. And just get started. You saw the journey, get started. Start from 1, 2, 3, and 4. Ayan.
Alright, thank you so much, AM. At bago po tayo magwakas ngayong gabi, pwede po ba tayo